Hey guys, we are back from our winter hiatus, and we have so much to talk about in this episode. The apple doesn't fall far from the alibi. Let's get right to it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Can you see by the dawn's early light?
If you guys don't know, this is Emmy Rossum singing, actually.
Just so fitting, this episode.
I've got to say, I actually think I like Santiago's version better.
Probably, but props to Emmy. She sings pretty well.
Oh yeah, her voice is amazing. She's great. What's up, guys? We're back. We are back from our winter hiatus. Are you excited to be back, Juliet?
I'm so back. I'm so back.
She's back.
I'm back. I am so back. I am so glad to be here. I missed you. I miss our panel, who's not fully here, but hopefully we'll get everybody back in studio.
Yeah.
And I miss our cast of ours, a little Shameless, the Gallagher family.
I know. It's good to see them, for sure. I do think that they started off pretty hot today. I was glad that it wasn't too much of a kind of filler to tell story now that we're back. I thought that they really kind of jumped right back into the, to the storylines of all of our favorite characters. So it's good. Let's start talking. I want to start with Kevin V, especially after having the Star-Spangled Banner on. So Santiago is introduced into the story. He's going to be their foster son. And Kev is like so unbelievably ecstatic about it. It's the son he never had. He can't wait to take him to, sporting events and have him play baseball and all that kind of stuff. But it also really tied in some things that are going on in current events, which Shameless always does. So what did you kind of think about this whole situation?
First and foremost, I love that he was talking about the fact that he was hoping that he could rename a child who is 12 years old now that he's his, which I thought was just really, really funny. And I love how V was just kind of like, maybe, and she just kind of goes along for the ride, or she's always there by his side. And yeah, as you mentioned, Shameless always does this. They kind of take on what's going on in actual events and put that into the show in a funny and smart way. And I really appreciated how they did this, because unfortunately this is something that we need to be talking about more, and it's not being talked about. So I'm glad that Shameless at least can do that. Yeah,
they definitely, art imitates life for sure on this show. We see it a lot with the foster kids who are coming in with, the ice guys and their foil blankets and, all that kind of stuff. So it's at the same time hard to watch as it is funny, which somehow Shameless always tends to balance.
Speaking of the blankets and the kids that we were seeing in the lobby, were you surprised when they kind of dropped this bomb on us?
No, I don't know if I'm ever surprised by Shameless. I think you're like, oh, okay, but I don't know if you're like, holy crap, that's so surprising, because you just kind of expect that from them at this point, or for them to do something like that.
Yeah, because they kept on, I'm sure those places are never a joyful place by any means, but just so many kids were crying, and everyone is speaking Spanish, every kid, and the way they were walking in, it was nonstop. It was just so many poor kids that I figured that, it's going to take this turn, and I'm glad, but not glad, which is a weird thing to say, but, again, I'm glad they bring attention to this.
Right. Well, and we're definitely going to be talking more about it. It doesn't seem like the conversation's over at all, just because we know that Santiago's family is in the States somewhere. They were just all separated, which is that's what was so sad to me, or I guess a little bit more shocking. But yeah, I have a feeling now that Kevin V are going to try to work towards finding his family, which could be an interesting storyline for them.
Yeah, I'm so here for that storyline, but part of me also felt bad because Kevin has been wanting a kid for so long, and it kind of sucks that that's just not the reality.
Well, and it just happened to be that Santiago had an amazing pitching arm, and he was throwing a heater, and he got so excited, and then for him to hear from V, we can't keep this kid. He's not your son. Immediately, I do love, though, how easily accepting he was. He signed that paper, and it was his son. That was his.
For sure. I think one of my favorite lines is that, again, Kev is such a kid at heart, and he was saying, oh, okay, he has a family, yeah, but we love him. He's ours now. We love him. He's ours. And he can claim someone like that, and it's all in good fun, but yeah, it's sad, too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I like the storyline. We'll see where it goes. We might see more of was it Hernandez who came over and did some of the translating? Yeah, so that was good too, so that we can see more interaction with Santiago and get a bit more from his character besides the Star-Spangled Banner. But That was fun, too.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Carl and his girlfriend.
Carl and his girlfriend, I think they're good for each other. I think she's a good mix of kind of a little bit of a bad trouble, but she always keeps him on the right path.
Yeah.
So there's priorities in order. You got to make sure you're good at school, but you can be scheming on the side.
Right, yeah. They can still nap and eat junk food, but you're going to work on your essay, and you're still going to get into West Point. Yeah, I agree. I think this is one girl that I do like because I know that she's intelligent too, which I really love for him because it makes him a better person too. So yeah, I've been enjoying that. And again, art imitating life. We've got Bird in the scenario. If you guys don't live, I guess, in a major city, Bird might not be around you, but I'm sure you've heard of it at this point. It's this ride-sharing app, but for electric scooters. So you can literally just scan the scooter when you find it parked out on the street and then ride it. And then when you're done, you lock it and it just charges you a certain amount of money per mile or per minute, I think.
Per minute, yeah.
Per minute, yeah.
And it was funny. It was funny how in the episode it wasn't a Bird. I think they kind of made it.
They had to change the name for sure.
Change the name, but yeah, the two competitors are Bird and Lime. And if you're interested more into this topic, there's actually a documentary on Netflix.
Shut up! Seriously?
Yes, it's called. Well, it's a documentary series that's produced by BuzzFeed, and they have an episode all on these scooter share rides.
I actually have to write that down because I think that's fascinating.
So that's why when there's this whole scene of them saying, "Oh, I'm going to steal them," I'm like, "No, he's going to charge them," because people actually make legit money.
Yeah.
And in this documentary I'm mentioning, they follow this guy who says that he makes about $450, give or take, per day.
Isn't that
solely charging?
That's crazy.
He probably has, there's expenses such as electricity and stuff like that, but he solely, that is his job. He is a charger, as they call them. So I thought it was really interesting.
I have a friend that charges them, and just depending on the areas that they're in and stuff too, you make more money. Like the ones that are harder to find, you make more money, and then there's certain ones where you make only like $5. But yeah, it's really
they set it up like a game, and I think this is a perfect summer activity for Carl and his new woman, just to be going all around Chicago in different areas to find the scooters that can give him the more money for his buck.
Especially when they've got her dad's nice ride to throw them all in the back of. Oh my God, that truck is sick, isn't it?
Such a sick truck, and really nice.
So what do you think about her skipping out on softball practice and those two, kind of like hiding and running away from her dad every morning? Like, where do we see that going?
Again, I think I love that they are able to be themselves and kind of just be scheming, but yet stay on a narrow path. And it would hate for her to support him so much that she doesn't go to a baseball and all these things, and she doesn't get her stuff in order. Right. So that's the one thing that made me nervous. But it is the summer; they're still figuring stuff out. So for now, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
But I think that we'll talk about this in predictions. But
yes, I know we did see a little bit in scenes for next week, so we can't.
Because in the beginning of the episode,
too much away.
In the beginning of the episode, when they're trying to run back into the house, I was very stressed. I was like, oh no,
yeah, she's got some good climbing skills. Mm-hmm. Right up the whatever that thing is called. What is that thing called? The gutter.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
And they have some good signage. Also, they have a whole thing down where he just does different signs like go, stop, stay, go.
Yeah. Really fun. That is really fun. They're on like a fun little mission after it's the Walk of Shame mission version. So we have a lot to talk about in predictions. We have some good news for you guys too coming up later on regarding William H Macy. Ooh. So stick around for that.
Hayley.
Of course, yes. No, I'm excited to talk about it. First, though, talking about electricity, talking about charging birds, all that stuff. Let's talk about Debbie acting like mom this episode. Like she has got her shit together this episode.
Can I just say it's about damn time?
Yes, you can say it.
Yes, it's about damn time. We had so many seasons of her just being this annoying teenager who was messing everyone's life up, okay? Let's just be honest with that.
Right.
Adding another Gallagher member to the family, another mouth to feed. And, I'm happy that she's taking ownership and she is pitching into this family because it's important. We need her to.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that she's in a different place in her life now than even all of her other siblings, where she's had to work through some of those really terrible times. She has a daughter, has learned how to take care of her daughter, learned how to pay bills. She has a job that allows her to do all of that kind of stuff. So she's just in a totally different place right now, and I like it. Mm-hmm. I do. But I do feel bad that her and Lip are kind of, now taking care of all of the bills, because we'll talk about Fiona, but, you know, she's really shit in the bed at the moment.
Yeah, and come to think of it, from you saying that, Lip is the consistent family member who's been doing that. I mean, he did go off to college and there's this and that, although he was still working during that time. He is the most long-standing kind of, for lack of a better term, father figure, you know, parent of the household.
Yep. Yeah, even through his, you know, alcoholic issues and all that kind of stuff, he tends to... He's just that, like, he's always been the caregiver, though. He always cares too much about everybody else and not enough about himself. And we'll talk about that more for sure. Anything else with Debbie's storyline? I mean, we didn't see too much besides her just making sure that all of the bills were paid. She was lying to all of the all of the companies that she needed to pay, telling them that she was diagnosed with, you know, a life-threatening disease, and
they can take all of her organs except for the colon. The colon's a no.
Yeah,
that was a funny bite
good.
there.
Yeah, but yeah, so she's fun. And that is still Gallagher relatable. Like for the rest of, you know, this whole show, you can't just go in there and say, I'm so sorry, my sister's having a hard time, whatever, you know. She still has to be shameless a little bit and just completely make up some terrible lies.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they were smart. They were innovative. She's just not like recycling the same one for each person. Because she could, because it's not the same person working at the same office, you know?
Right.
And I like how she switched it up every time. And she could maybe be an actress, you know, down the line, if that's something that could come about. Like,
oh my
you
gosh,
never
could
know.
you imagine? That's funny.
They all could, because they're so good at that,
So
at
good at
scheming,
lying.
at, you know... Honestly, if these poor Gallaghers had more money behind them and just, you know, better education, they'd be the best lawyers. They really would be.
Yeah, speaking of education, where's Liam? That was my one question throughout the entire episode, and I was going, wait, where is he? Did we see something? And we had such a long hiatus that I could just be me not remembering, but did he go somewhere in that last episode? We didn't even see anything at the beginning of this one saying, you know, like, oh, you forgot, or this is what happened. I can't remember if he was at a different school or if he went away somewhere.
Okay, we'll have to look this up, because I think it's very interesting that they didn't bring that up, because it is the summer, so maybe summer camp. And
is he away with his friend for like the whole summer or something? Maybe, yeah.
But
that's what I was thinking, but I don't know.
It's really strange that they didn't bring that up in the preview, and it wasn't a bigger deal, at least in the last episode. So I wonder what happened in the writer's room. They just probably had other fish to fry.
Yeah,
but I'm
exactly.
hoping we'll see him soon, because I love him.
Yeah, if you guys know, please comment on YouTube below and let us know.
Yeah.
Or
and
tweet
actually,
us.
Before we move on to the next topic, can I talk to our fans
Yeah,
really quickly?
please.
I just want to let you guys, let you know that we are so thankful for helping us be the ESPN of TV Talk. Mm-hmm. You know, we continue to grow thanks to your help. And if you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. If you're on iTunes, give us please a 5-star ratings, because there's no thing else. You can't do 3, 4. That doesn't work. You have to do the 5. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved with the conversation. As you were saying, Hayley, we're super fans, and I know you guys are as well, and it's so important for us to keep this conversation going.
Yeah, we want to talk to you outside of this show.
And being part of AfterBuzz has meant so much, to all of us, and we really truly appreciate your support in doing, you're helping us do what we love every week here, and again, so happy you're here listening to us. So don't forget to tell your friends and family members, and just keep enjoying the show, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Love that. You can find us on Spotify now, too, people.
Literally, you have no excuse not to watch us, because we are on every single platform.
And I know
You're
everyone
welcome.
has Spotify. All right. Cool. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll figure out, hopefully, thanks to you guys and our friend, the internet, what's going on with Liam. Otherwise, let's talk a little bit more about Lip and his girlfriend, or friend with benefits.
Okay, you don't think she's his girlfriend?
I don't think we're there yet. No, I don't think they're she was a little annoying this episode. I'm going to throw that out there, pushing him to get an apartment. I do like that he wasn't like Carl in this sense. I feel like Carl would have immediately just gotten the apartment without thinking about anything, because that's what he does for girlfriends. Whereas Lip's like, yeah, I'm not getting an apartment right now. I'm not in a place to get an apartment. And I'm definitely not getting this apartment if I'm getting one.
I'm with you on that. I kind of enjoyed that as well. And as we've seen Lip over the years with several, partners, I think he's learned a thing or two. And that's a little tease for what's coming next and later in the episode.
We have another fun segment. We've got a lot of fun things going on.
We do. We missed you guys. We want to keep this, fun for you guys. And I like that too. I like that he didn't go right into it. But the question I had was, he gave reasons why he didn't want to, but can he? Is he at that stage where he can?
Where he's able to? Yeah, that's a really good question, because he is working consistently. I mean, it's not like they're paying rent at the house. That house is paid off, right?
Right, but they have all these bills.
But all these bills all of a sudden,
So that's my question. Is he not wanting to get the apartment because he feels that he needs to be within the Gallagher house and helping all the people who still live there, which is understandable? Or is he not financially stable or not really wanting to do that yet? I just kind of want that question answered. You know?
I think the apartment that they were looking at, I don't know if I don't think he's financially able to do that.
No, that was huge. There was like an outdoor patio. With like, I don't know what she's thinking. Again, this came up there from different worlds.
Exactly, yeah. So we see, the beginning of this storyline is he's staying over at her house, and we come out to see all of her roommates, and, they're all from totally different walks of life. We find out she was actually dating the one who brings, like, $5 coffees, and he's lips like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy a $5 coffee. Like, that's insane. And she's going to spinning class, which if any of you guys do group fitness, like, you know how expensive that is. So yes, they're just from two totally different worlds, and yet she still very much fits into his, which is interesting.
Yeah, she's very shameless, in the way that she expresses herself, the way she is disrespectful and rude towards so many people. We saw her meet today Debbie's colleague who hopefully, I don't know, it was something else there, but
Farhad.
And she was like, yep, don't care. I'm like, how rude are you?
Yeah, she called him don't care hot. I'm pretty sure she said walking downstairs. Yeah. And he was just like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. She's very... Do you like her? That would be the first question. Do you like her character?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think I like her because I think she's entertaining, but I don't think she's the best thing for him. She's very needy. She just shows up to his work and demands to spend time with him. Like, this is just, in all the years we've seen him grow and get in all these relationships, I really, at this point, I wish he wasn't in this relationship. I don't think he deserves much better.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm just like ready for Lip to be, especially because doesn't it kind of feel like, we know that this isn't the last season, but it feels like it's coming. And so you kind of start thinking like, how is this stuff going to end for all of these characters? Yeah. And I just want it to end in a healthy, him on a good track type of relationship, which just doesn't seem like this is the one. But hey,
yeah, but I think you make a great point. I feel that they are trying to keep this show going for more seasons and for longer, although it's kind of at a turning point where all these characters have gone through so many different storylines where it seems that things are kind of wrapping up, so that's why they're putting him with a girlfriend who seems that she belongs several seasons ago. Right. If I'm being completely candid, I think that's what's going on.
Well, it's funny you say that too, because when I was looking up news and everything, I saw a few headlines talking about how fans were not upset about the show going on winter hiatus, and then this episode reminded them why they were not upset that it went on hiatus. So I would actually love to know if you guys could comment below what you think about the show being back. Are you still intrigued? Do you still enjoy it? Or were you kind of like, Shameless should end?
Yeah,
it's an honest question, and I'd love to know what your honest opinions are.
Yeah, how invested are you at this point?
Yeah. Great way to put it. Yeah, and I think for me, being honest, I'm definitely not as invested as I was in the beginning, just because I do feel like like you said, it's a pattern, or things are happening again that I feel like we've already seen. So you're just not as invested. However, I will say I am very invested in Frank and Ingrid's relationship because I'm a huge Katie Sagal fan, and I think she's so funny and such a good actress. So I like seeing these two, especially because they're getting into some serious trouble.
Wait, I have to ask though, do you like seeing these two? Do you like seeing her on screen, or do you like seeing this couple together, like legitimately?
I like seeing these two actors work together because I just can imagine like how much fun they're having on set and how awesome it would be to just watch them and their process on set. Do I like these characters together? Actually, yes, because we can't see Frank with a normal person. It's just not going to work. And so I'm like, great, bring in the more crazies, the better. For Frank, anyway, I think he's kind of a lost cause. Like, I don't think we're going to see him ever totally get his shit together. Whereas the kids, I think they still can. So for me, I'm like, I'm okay with the crazy relationship for him.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm torn because it's such a shameless storyline because I love seeing this unravel. I think it's so entertaining. But yes, in retrospect, I'm just like, wow, this is just going to end bad.
Yeah.
But I love Frank having like an equally as unstable person by his side,
Right.
So
we see these two. Ingrid has brought him. They're going out on a date day, and she has a surprise for him, and she takes him to the place where she has frozen her eggs.
Yep. Surprise.
And unlike any other man, I think, in this entire world, Frank's like, yes, let's do it. I'm all ready to fertilize your eggs.
I know. It's so crazy. There's no prior conversation. He's literally staring at it as they're pulling it up from that machine. And yeah, let's do it. It's funny how I was hoping they would pan like to the doctor and see his reaction, because I don't think that's a common thing where people have that conversation within the hospital, within the facility.
Right. Like, so are you ready to do this? Or yeah, that's a good point. I also think that Frank is looking at this as just dollar signs. He's like, if I impregnate her, she has to stay around. She has money. She's a therapist.
Yeah. And on top of that, I honestly genuinely think that he likes her, that he really likes spending time with her. And this is, she's the new Monica.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think that Ingrid's ex will come back into the picture? I know we sent him on a vacation before the winter hiatus. They convinced him to go away on his like dream vacation. But usually he's the one that's putting her back on her meds and making sure that she's on the right track. Do you think he comes back at any point to kind of be like, what in the hell is going on?
I think so, because I don't think you can be on vacation for forever.
Yeah.
And especially you bring up the meds now that she's maybe going to have a child. And I don't know how that's going to kind of happen, works. Which is also it was an interesting storyline. But for anyone who doesn't know, fertilizing eggs is not like something you do right away. You have to take like shots and like a bunch of different things. Yeah, when you're
going through IVF, there's like months of injecting yourself with different hormones and everything to help you get pregnant, which is like it's a terrible process. It's a long process.
It really is. And considering that she's not even taking her regular meds, that was a little bit
skipped over that a bit.
They skipped it, but it's okay. I'm not mad.
Yeah, we're like, we don't have time for her to go through IVF, or else she'll never get these eggs fertilized. Well, okay, so let's talk about, as we were watching, we find out that his swimmers are very, very slow. In fact, there's only a couple, actually. He's just, he's old. He doesn't have good sperm anymore. And I immediately, when I see that the nurse lets him take his cup out of the building and we see him walk home and Carl's there, I immediately say, no, he's going to steal Carl's sperm. And Juliet was like, no. And I was like, yes, that is what's happening. And guys, it happened.
It really did.
Carl...
You should have known better.
Such an idiot in that moment. I mean, but it's $100. And when $100 is, looming you in the face, when you're Carl, you take it.
Exactly. And I think it's weird. It's two-sided, because part of me that watching this scene, I was saying, like, you should know better after all this time. He's handing you a medical cup. You should know something's up. This is really fishy. However, Frank's always up to something crazy that he's probably like, oh, whatever, another thing. I don't care at this point. Like, He's just Frank being Frank.
Yeah, I know. And also the last thing in Carl's mind is that he's going to take his semen and, impregnate somebody with it. But do we think that comes back to bite him in the ass?
It has to. It has to.
Is that a storyline you want to see, though?
No, I don't.
I know.
I want Carl to be happy and just go to work, go to school, and have his girlfriend by his side and have fun with her. And she pushes her, and then they still are stealing birds or charging birds, whatever it is.
Well, maybe stealing them, both. Well, maybe it ends up coming to bite Frank in the ass, where Carl ends up getting her money or something to use for West Point because she finds out it's actually his baby. Who knows? Mm-hmm. I should have saved that for predictions.
Okay. We'll keep something else for predictions. Our fans really want those, as do I.
I know. Anything else? Any other opinions, comments about Frank and Ingrid?
I just don't see this really kind of ending too well.
Oh, I have one question for all of you guys and for you, Juliet. Were you surprised that Frank couldn't get himself off with the 80s porn? Because to me, I would have expected Frank to be able to just
whip it out
whack
whenever.
One off real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of surprising as well, but I also love that happened because it allowed for a really fun back and forth between the nurse and him.
Yeah.
And we got to also have that scene where he's with Ingrid and we hear them talk,
getting it
on, which was very disturbing, but yet very fun.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, well, let's talk about the the woman of the hour, Fiona. Mm-hmm. Oh, I feel like when I watch this show, sometimes I take on the exhaustion of some of the characters. Yeah. Because we've now been, we've been invested for so long. Mm-hmm. And Fiona is just losing it. Like, she is absolutely spiraling, and it's so hard to watch because she was in such a good place. Like, the writers set us up to put Fiona in a great place last season, and now she's in such a shitty place, and it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it really is. It's really saddening, but this is what life is, and this is what especially being a Gallagher is that you get knocked down and you got to pick yourself up. And yeah. I'm upset with Fiona. She's not picking herself up again. The pity party needs to end, girl.
Yeah. So Fiona immediately when we open on this episode, she's drinking in the morning. She grabs some high C and then throws some of Frank's vodka into her glass, and she's just drinking all day. She's in the shower drinking. She's at Patsy's drinking, being extremely rude to customers, like just being not herself at all.
She's being Frank.
Yeah.
She's hanging out with the homeless people. She goes every day to the same store to buy the same booze. He's like, oh, my favorite customer. It's not because she's nice or pretty. It's because she is a recurring customer who keeps buying booze and spending at least $30 a day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, we also find out, too, that her building has been resold by Max, and for a much higher price than what she sold it to him for. And so I think she, that sets her off even more because she feels like she just totally screwed up. But yeah, when she's in Patsy's, we can see the employees, even one of them, thank goodness, there's another girl there that's taking care of ordering the food, getting the ice machine fixed, and reminding her to pay her employees because she's not doing any of that right now. She's just literally letting shit go.
She's in, can we talk about the gum also? How she's just which also is disgusting and they should be cleaning that, but not in front of customers. You shouldn't be under someone's table being like, oh, ew, that's so gross.
And you should never be yelling at your customers while they're there because they're most likely not the ones that did it.
Exactly.
But
your employees are looking at you and they're like, is she crazy? Is she okay? Like, that's not good if your employees are thinking that or saying that.
It is interesting. Well, I guess not. It's the first episode back from hiatus that no one is bringing that up to her yet. Nobody is saying, what the hell is your problem? Get your shit together. She still owns Patsy's. It's not like she's back to totally ground zero. She still owns something. She's back to where she was before she bought the building. Exactly. So it's not like she's at the lowest point ever. That's just how she feels. And it doesn't help that the breakup and that whole scandal happened, before or at the same time as all of this. Yeah,
it doesn't help. But again, you get knocked down, you have to get back up. And as you're saying, she has other blessings in her life. She just needs to take a good look at them.
Yeah.
Instead of literally becoming Frank.
Right.
We can all have those days. I'll allow you to be Frank maybe a day or two. And considering all the stuff you've been through, maybe a week tops. No, this is an ongoing thing. You're an alcoholic now.
Right. And when you're leaving it to your younger siblings who are your legal guardians, and some of them still are not 18, and you're just letting the electricity be turned off and all that kind of stuff, that's not okay. You want to let your personal stuff go to shit, fine, but you're taking care of these kids, and they expect a lot from you, and you've just let them down.
That's a great point. She could literally lose the kids.
Right. Which, they all take care of them. They all take care of themselves.
I know,
at this point,
I don't think they want to be in a, all different foster homes and being separated at this point. So
right.
Fiona.
I know. Well, we did see some scenes for next week, so let's get into some predictions here before we get into our special segments.
Ooh. And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Never gets old. So yes, seeing scenes from next week, Debbie is talking to Fiona in the shower. And I think this is the point that I'm waiting for, at least I'm sure some of you are waiting for, where she says, if you're not paying for electricity, you can get the F out. I think she put it, get out of the shower because we pay for the water and you don't. Mm-hmm. So hopefully something changes from that interaction, but I think that they may end up kicking Fiona out. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think it's just going to keep going downhill from here. I don't know if they'll kick her out, but they're definitely going to have to give her a big talking to.
Yeah.
She's not doing good. She's not doing good at all.
Yeah.
And I really hope she picks herself back up.
Yeah.
I really do. But I don't know.
Me too.
I'm not really hopeful.
Do you have any other predictions specific to anyone else?
Not really. But
we also see a gun being pointed at Carl's head in the scenes for next week, which we can assume is his girlfriend's dad, because his girlfriend was also in the in that little scene for next week. So I think that their little scheming is about to be over.
I think so too, but I hope that the father kind of sees them and see that they're good for each other, because I really believe that.
Right.
I really do.
Cool.
Can I do some really quick fan shout-outs before we head into the
Yes,
special segments
please.
and all that?
Fun.
Cool. Because we have some really cool people in the chat that I want to shout out. So we have Frank S., who says, I like the direction they're going with Fiona. I didn't enjoy all... excuse me, I'm going to read it closer.
Yeah, it's fine.
A little blind here. I didn't enjoy all of her being in a... I enjoyed her being in a building and an owner tycoon.
Okay.
Which I think we liked. So I love hearing different opinions.
Yeah, it's great.
So he says that he likes his direction way better, and it reminds him of the good old days. So
Okay.
good.
Thanks,
I'm
Frank
glad. And another shout out to Jose Medina, who says that I think it's hard to be invested in the show when the strongest relationship was Ian and Mikey, and they're no longer on the show.
Yeah, Ian and Mickey. Well, especially when we saw them too right before hiatus. I mean, that was just like such a tease, because we all got what we wanted, and that's how I wanted things to end for Ian. But then you're also like, I want more. So yeah, that was tough. But good point.
Yeah, I think it was really tough. But yeah, I think they had a great ending, and we've talked about this in previous episodes. So if you've missed that, make sure you go check that out as well.
We talk about that a lot on the last episode before break. Juliet, do you have a fun segment for us?
I do. We were talking about Lip and his many girlfriends, and we figure let's go back down memory lane and see who he's dated, what lessons we've learned from them, who was our favorite, who was our least favorite, and things of that nature. So I'm going to throw the floor to you, my friend. I'm just going to go through the list. And again, guys, please feel free to hop into the live chat.
Yeah.
He's had many, apart from the ones I'm going to name, definitely other relationships, but we're going to stick with the ones that were reoccurring, and there was something, seems like an intense. Memorable, exactly. So how can we ever forget Mandy, who was the high school sweetheart, who pushed him she actually signed up for college for him, which was amazing. We had Karen, the neighbor, Amanda, who was the rich college girl, and Sierra, who was the waitress at Patsy's, and Helen, who was the teacher, college teacher.
So that one was my favorite by far, the teacher relationship, because I don't know, I just felt like I saw him in a totally different light. I felt like with all the other girlfriends, he really liked them and was invested, but I actually think he was in love with his teacher, and so there was a different feeling for Lip towards that. And then when that broke off, it was such a devastating breakup for him that we got to see a lot of good monologues from him and like just really heartbreaking stuff. And he's just such a good actor, so I love seeing that from him.
Yeah, I love that too. I think mine will always be Mandy.
Yeah,
she's the one that got away.
So good.
She was so good because she was really from his world, and she really understood him, and she really saw him for who he was, and she was always pushing him to be better.
Right.
She did run over someone though, so that's another day for another story. So
yeah, make sure you guys comment who your favorites are, why they were your favorites, and if there was any that we didn't mention that you thought was super memorable, go ahead and comment that below too. And then just a little news for you guys.
Yeah.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So while I was doing some research online, Parade.com did an article talking to William H. Macy, kind of just about working with Katie Segal, working on Shameless, and working with his wife, Felicity Huffman, which I love her as well. It'd be kind of fun to get her on the show, wouldn't it? And see those two together, just for fun. Yeah. But anyway, he talks about working with Cameron Monaghan, who played Ian, and actually how he felt when he told them that he was leaving the show. And let me read this quote for you guys. William H. Macy said, when I found out that Cam was leaving, I was really upset. I didn't like it, which I thought was interesting that he spoke out like that. And he said, in a very gentle way, I tried to talk him out of it, just actor to actor. Which was interesting because, he talks a little bit about this also in the article, so you guys should read that, parade.com, about how it was a bit more expected for Emmy to leave and how it seems like everyone was a bit more understanding of that leaving than Cameron's. And I'm maybe just because of age or, where they're at in their careers. I'm not sure. But yeah, or maybe their relationship, William H. Macy and Cameron were just closer. But I thought it was very interesting that he tried to get him to stay on the show.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm glad that he was able to do that.
Me too.
Yeah.
But Cameron's also an amazing actor, and he's doing a lot right now, so he seems to be doing just fine.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Juliet, tell everyone where they can find you on social media so that we can continue the conversation.
Oh, I'm so sad that we're done with the show already, but guys, we will be back here next week. And in the meantime, if you want to follow me on Instagram, please feel free to do so my handle is at Bonjour Juliet.
Everywhere at Bonjour Juliet.
Exactly.
And you guys can find me everywhere at Hayley Clover. Again, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, comment below, and find us everywhere so we can continue talking until next week. We'll see you then, guys. Bye-bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.